Today, I'm pleased to announce members of my science and technology team. Dr. John Holdren has agreed to serve as Assistant to the President for Science and Technology and Director of the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy.
John P. Holdren is the resident science czar of the Obama White House. He's the head of the White House Council on Science and Technology, key advisor. This man is a Malthusian fanatic. He's a radical environmentalist, an ecological fanatic, a green kook, a wacko, except that it's also very sinister because the implications of his belief structure and his world outlook are genocide. He says that population is the root of all human problems. Humanity is a cancer on the face of the earth. Now again, the note of genocide puts Holdren in a league which is far beyond Hitler in terms of the number of victims that these policies would result in. Holdren believes that there's a world optimum population or carrying capacity. Holdren says that the optimum world population is 1 billion. Now let's pause. At the time Holdren wrote that, the world population was already 4 billion. Today, if you say the optimum population is 1 billion, it would mean that more than 5 billion would have to go. And again, these are orders of magnitude that Hitler, Stalin, and Mao never dreamed of. Only in the mind of fanatics like Holdren do we get genocide of these proportions. That's what Holdren wants for you and your family. In order to enforce this, he talks about a supranational monstrosity that he calls a planetary regime. This means a world empire, a supranational, one world government that would attempt to control all details of human life. The temperature in your living room, the kind of car you have, the amount you get to eat, whether you have a pet. He talks about all kinds of forced sterilization, obligatory vasectomy once you had 2 children in the family, compulsory abortion. Think about that. He wants to have licenses for birth. In other words, a woman is not allowed to give birth unless she's purchased a marketable birth license. And what happens to people that are born illegitimately, meaning without a birth permit? He even writes about infanticide. He says that infanticide is found in many primitive peoples. And he says, well, what that means is that these societies thought that the survival of the group and the collectivity was more important than the individual, so they didn't hesitate to kill babies, which implies Holdren's idea of civilization. It's a form of barbarity. Holdren writes books about nuclear target selection, nuclear war. He's a strangelove. This is all in the Nazi or quasi-Nazi tradition of the 20s and 30s. Naturally, as this becomes more extreme, as the breakdown crisis gets worse, and it is getting worse, as the depression deepens, you get into the definitions of useless eaters, lives not worthy of being lived. Humanity is a cancer on the face of the earth. So the ultimate logic of all this is extermination, genocide, the concentration camp, depopulation, and a horror that goes beyond anything seen in the 20th century. That's where Obama is essentially leading.